Well, fall is here and winter isn't too far behind. It's a good time to get to the cabin and see what we gotta do. Well, at the cabin, of course, we do run on solar only, so our options are sort of limited on whatever our power consumption is. Now, regarding heating, we do have a primary heat source, which is the little cubic mini wood burner, and it works pretty good. But we do have another heat source. So that little thing that looks like an exhaust pipe to a Volkswagen Jetta, that's kind of what it is. It is a diesel exhaust, and that was diesel fumes that you saw coming out there, a big black cloud. That's the heater that we're going to be using in the cabin. Now, we used it a little bit last year, but we didn't really talk about it too much. It is a pretty cool little thing, or should I say, a pretty warm little thing. Now, this little fella has enough heat to run probably 3 cabins of the size of this. This little thing is pretty awesome. So the diesel heater is absolutely worth its weight in gold. Although you don't have to spend that much to buy one. The one that I bought, it was maybe a year ago or something around those lines. I don't really remember exactly. But I paid just a little over $200 for it. And I'm looking online right here. Walmart has one for $121.99. Can you believe that? It's close to 50% off of what it originally was. Now, there's a reason for that. They're from China, and they're not that great, durability-wise. The performance is pretty cool, but you can kind of tell that by picking it up, it's light, there's nothing to it. It's probably the cheapest possible material available in China. Same with the labor that put it together. So, mine works good, and it's been run pretty hard, and it's still holding up. I am absolutely prepared for it to fail. I know it will eventually fail. It's not something I'm going to bet my life on. There are parts that are replaceable. Sort of consumables would be the glow plug. The glow plug is something that has to be replaced. So there are a few things that I would like to do with the diesel heater at the cabin there. The exhaust is probably the number one priority. I don't like how it doesn't come out from under the building very far. It comes out farther than what it looks like in the video, but it's still not as far as I'd like. I'd like to bring it out and maybe take it all the way up and have like a little stack of some sort or whatever. The exhaust size is comparable to 3/4 inch of a copper water line. That's pretty cool. I can just get that anywhere and solder up a little fitting sort of thing that just hooks into it, and I use that in the winter, and when spring or summer gets here, I can just take it off and not have to worry about it. So that's kind of a cool thing that the size is pretty easy to match. But I absolutely want to get it further away from the building right there. So it's got a 10-liter fuel tank, which to me, liters means jack squat. I have no idea what a liter is. I think it's like a month or something. But I had to look it up, and it's just a little over 2.5 gallons. It's like 2.6. So that's pretty cool, because when I fill up one of those yellow containers of diesel fuel, that's 5 gallons. So that's 2 complete tanks of a 5-gallon doohickey that I leave under yonder, and marvelous stuff there. So, the fuel consumption is next to zero. I mean, it is unbelievably efficient, the amount of diesel. Now, the energy consumption, that varies on how hard you're running it. And if you saw in the video that the hertz down to way low, that's the frequency that the fuel pump pumps. It's that noisy clicking thing. All the way on low, I think it's like 1.5 maybe, and then all the way up to 5. 5 is, I don't know what the actual frequency thing is. Is that like how many clicks per 3 seconds or something? Regardless, if you run it all the way up on, I'm just going to call it high, you're going to use a lot more energy. The fan runs higher, the pump pumps more, and I don't know if the glow plug even kicks on. I don't think it does, but it does to ignite. You're going to use more energy along with more fuel, but the fuel isn't really that big of a difference from low to high. It's putting out a lot of heat. So one of my big concerns with the heater when I first got it was the fuel actually gelling. There have been a lot of reviews online and people saying that, yeah, diesel gels. Obviously, diesel gels. However, I haven't been in negative 50 degree weather or negative 40 degree or whatever to really experience that. The coldest I've run that heater at was about, I think it was negative 17 or 19 or something like that. And that was only one night, and that's also after I had a wood burner running in there, the little Cubic Mini. I had that guy running too, so it kind of kept up with that. But the Cubic Mini doesn't last near as long, and especially when super cold came in, the Cubic Mini had already burned out. So I don't know if it was more of a radiant absorbing the heat from everything that kind of kept the fuel from gelling. I don't know. And there's only a little bit of line, a fuel line that runs underneath the building where it was exposed to super cold temperatures. So when I first fired this up, after it's sitting from March or something like that, it's October now, I did fire it up. It took 3 times to fire it. There's a cycle when you push on, it goes through, it starts pumping, and the glow plug turns on and the fan starts running. There's 2 fans actually. There's one that sucks air, combustion air from outside, burns in the combustion chamber, and then it spits all that crap back outside. But the secondary fan takes house air and blows across everything that's getting hot. So you're not actually breathing the combustion stuff. But it took 3 cycles. Start up, the fans would kick on, it would go through its try to light thing, and apparently it just wasn't light, and it would shut off. What I assume is maybe the gas, I'm sorry, not the gas, the diesel might have went bad, or maybe it was clogged, or maybe there was a small leak somewhere that all the fuel just kind of backed out of the line, and it took that long to get fresh diesel up to the glow plug and to turn on. So after 3 tries, it did fire up nicely, and it's been working great ever since, although, as I previously mentioned, I am prepared for it to fail. There's a thing about running it at low setting, low frequency, I guess. The frequency setting on it, as I mentioned before, 1.5 to 5, I think. You can also change that to Celsius, so if you're a metric kind of person, that might be easier for you. And it's some sort of a thermostat that runs high and it runs low. To me, it's more of a throttle. It's not going to set there where you put it and keep everything comfortable. You're going to kind of guess what it is, and it's how hard it's running is how you keep everything comfortable. Now, when you buy these things, there's a 3 kilowatt version, a 5, an 8, and I think it goes on up from there. I don't know how far. That means absolutely nothing to me. Again, I'm American, so I look at BTUs, and from the reviews online that I've read, the 8 kilowatt can pretty much handle just about anything that I would throw at it regarding the size of the room that I'm trying to heat. Now, there are a lot of people that are van dwellers, and they have been using these and had pretty good luck. So this is kind of what sold this on me. I'm actually considering buying a couple more just to have around, and I've got some future plans on other places where I might like to put one. Well, I guess that's about it here, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I know it's not really in-depth and super informative on the little diesel heater there, but it's kind of all I can really offer to you. It's not a whole big deal to get into it. It's like there's fire in this little box, and the air blows over top the outside, and that's where you get the heat. That's pretty much all there is to it. They're inexpensive. They run off 12 volts and diesel fuel, so you can kind of put them anywhere. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And as always, have a good one.